right, good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining today's webinar. I'm Pat McPherson. I'll be, going through this webinar with you guys this morning. I am one of the sales engineers here at ITS, and I'm looking through kind of our attendees list, and there's a number of you guys here that I've done some work with in the past, and some new folks on the line as well. So for those who've never really worked with ITS before, I just want to kind of give a little brief overview of how did ITS come to be, and what do we focus in on? So ITS really got our start here focusing around endpoint management, and probably about 15 years ago now, we really got started off by working with the Altiris systems management tool. And over the years, as we did more and more implementations, we kind of expanded. We saw also customers over time like, hey, you know what, ITS, you do Altiris, what about System Center? And we kind of, over the years, have expanded our practice, and we've expanded to also doing System Center. And then as part of that, because we're really homed in on managing the endpoints, well, it made sense that we would also focus in on securing the endpoints, and also to manage the endpoints from an asset perspective, and to manage it from a ticketing perspective as well. So over time, as we again focus in on managing the endpoints, it just made more and more sense that we'd pick up ServiceNow as a vendor and begin integrating our endpoint management tools into ServiceNow. And that's where we are kind of today, where many of our customers are running ServiceNow, and many of our customers are also running Altiris or System Center. And people then say, well, Pat, I need to bring this data in, right? Altiris is gathering all this good data. What can we do about bringing it in? And then not only bring it in, then do something with it, right? Take automated actions. And that's what today's webinar is really going to be about, is talking about what we've developed here and how we can bring in. And this webinar will be focused in around the Altiris side, and I'll be showing you how we can import data and then take action upon from day to day, like, hey, pushing out software, for example. So let me go ahead and get to my next slide here. And I've only got a couple slides here I'll show you guys, and then I'll kind of get into the product and showing it off. So looking here, what does our ServiceNow to Altiris actionable integration look like? And so let me kind of go ahead and explain here, right? So we use our Altiris tool. Many people here on today's call probably got an on-premise Altiris server, okay? And you've got your Altiris agents deployed, and you're getting inventory from it, right? Maybe you're doing it weekly, quarterly, whatever. What we've done here is we will leverage ServiceNow to read the data that Altiris is already picking up for you guys. And we shoot it over into ServiceNow and populate the configuration items for the computer records. And really what we're after here, top thing people say, well, Pat, I need to know software. What's currently installed on these endpoints? I also want to know the hardware, right? What's my make? What's my model? What's my hard disk? What's my processor? Things like that. After I've gotten all of these, this data imported into ServiceNow, I can now go ahead and the second part of what we're doing here is triggering software delivery tasks, right? So we got 3 different ways that we can go ahead and trigger, and probably the most common way is going to be from the service catalog. So we can have our end users, navigate to the employee self-service page, and they can request software. And so I always use an example like, well, hey, maybe we're not going to put iTunes on our corporate image, right? But instead, maybe if someone just wants it and wants to request it, yeah, I'll have it packaged up with Altiris, and it can go ahead and install. And something like iTunes, maybe you guys just want it to automatically go down, right? Just, someone asks for it, we're going to grant it. And what will happen is when that request comes in, that software will then be installed leveraging Altiris, and most importantly, the infrastructure, right? So I'm sure many people on the phone probably have package servers, task servers. So we just communicate to your notification server, And then it leverages your Altiris infrastructure and your package servers to push out that application. Now, other options that we have here, or actually, let me actually back up just a second. I'll dive more into this when I start showing you. You know, questions then come up as, okay, Pat, cool, iTunes, that's a freebie. You know, what about things that maybe cost money, right? Something that's expensive. You know, could I have maybe an approval process? You bet. So I'll be showing you here, and you'll see that we can specify as part of the process, like, hey, if something's over a certain dollar value amount, you know, that needs to maybe be approved by somebody, and that's pretty important, and it's different from everyone, and I'll show you how we can do that. Next up here, right from a computer, right? So sometimes people say, well, Pat, I don't give technicians access to Altiris, but I do give them access to ServiceNow. Would it be possible for a technician just you know, go to ServiceNow, find a computer in question, and push software out right through ServiceNow that way without giving them access to the Altiris console? And yep, so that is an option as well. And then the third and last option that we have here is within a break-fix incident. So I'll use an example. Everyone's different, but Java is typically a big one. Where, well, hey, maybe someone sends a ticket in. Hey, Java, you know, hey, this application's not working, and they show a picture, and you're like, I know right away that if I deliver this software delivery task, it'll go ahead and fix this Java error. I've seen it before. So right from an incident, we can actually schedule as well a software delivery task. And then last up here is part of the demo here, I'm going to get into like reporting, right? So let's report, let's see what we've been having pushed out, what's been successful and what has failed, and so forth. So guys, we're almost done with PowerPoints here. High level communication, right? Let's set our platform. So what is it that we're doing here? And you'll see it today in today's demo. But you know, we got ServiceNow in the cloud. So what's happening then is I've got on-premise a mid server, and that mid server is communicating to my Altiris notification server. And that's really it. So when we go ahead and request a software delivery task and get inventory from my machines, it's communicating up to ServiceNow using this mid server as our proxy for the communication. And then ultimately those software requests will then hit your local machines. Now, the last part of today, I've got one last slide, and I'll bring it up towards the end about, hey, just common Q&As, right? So when I talk to people, just common questions, and I'll kind of run through those. And also, as part of this, guys and gals, on the webinar, you can also ask a question, and if I don't address it here as part of my last slide here, I'll go ahead and I'll see if I can tackle them with you guys as well. And if I can't get it, if I don't got an answer for you, then you know, I'll follow up with an email with you. All right, so let's get started here. So first off, you will see this is my Altiris integration homepage. So we've got some dashboards here, right? And what this is telling me, I really like this one, software titles per day. So this is telling me every day, you know, what are the applications that people are requesting. I can drill down into each of these, you know, as you guys know, working with ServiceNow, you can drill into these and see what are the machines that had it. Then sometimes people say, well, Pat, I like this. Could I see maybe, you know, a list of different, you know, applications that were installed? And you can. And if you want that view, you just click here where it says display. Let me give this a run. You'll see here. And it breaks it down here, right? As far as the amount of softwares a day that are being requested and so forth. And again, these can be drilled down so you actually can see, you know, the machines that requested it. So let me go up here. I'm going to go back to my home page. So let's use an example here, right? Let me go ahead and show you the employee self-service portal, right? When I use that example, hey, someone, you know, they need to request a piece of software. So I've already got a tab here open up for my employee self-service. So here, I want to order something. Yeah. Click here where it says software is what I want. And now I'm presented here with my list of applications. Now, as part of other demos that I've done with people, people say, well, Pat, is there a way that I could separate stuff that's like, hey, just a normal request versus a request that can actually install it? And yeah, you can do that, or you could have them all shown up here Just in this example I've shown here, I've made a different category called Deliverable Software. And again, guys, this is stuff that we work with you guys to figure out, how do you want it to be displayed to your users? So it's an option. So here I'm going to click on Deliverable Software, and here you can see the different software titles that I've made available. Okay, Skype, Firefox, Notepad, Java. Now, for those on the line, right, my Altiris admins, you're probably thinking, well, okay, how's it bringing it in here, right? Let me show you. Let me go back over here. I'm going to pop open my notification server. So here, guys, I'm under my jobs and tasks section of my Altiris server, okay? So what we specify here is I specify the folder. I'm going to specify, guys, where are all of the tasks that I want to push out to my endpoints? So you're going to see here, if I right-click and go into Properties, you're going to see here, right on the task, there's a GUID. So as part of the Altiris AI, we specify the root folder. And then Altiris sucks up all the different software delivery tasks. Now, guys, hopefully you're catching here, I keep saying software delivery, right? There's folks on the line that are thinking, well, Pat, I'd really like to be able to push a run script, right? There's many different tasks that Altiris can use. Maybe there's you guys leverage deployment solution, right? And you provision your operating systems and push out imaging jobs. Well, Pat, could I have that as an option in my catalog? You bet. So we've seen it both ways. So for example, if you're just saying like, hey, I've got a big old folder here with tons of software delivery tasks and run scripts, is there a way that I can filter out my just having only show up software deliveries or show everything? Yeah, we can definitely do that. So I always like to make note, like, hey, it's not only software that we can push out. It's really going to be any task that's going to be underneath the folder that we specify. All right, and here you see them. I got Java, Firefox, Skype, and so forth. So let's go over here, and actually, I'll eventually here I'll order Firefox. But here, let me set the stage here a little bit. I've got a little Windows 7 machine here, so let me click on Windows 7 Pro, and I've opened up my Altiris agent, right? That little yellow icon. And let me show you here. You're going to see when I request the software, you're going to see this Firefox get installed here. And I'll show you the task history, and we'll watch it here go ahead and get triggered in just a moment. So, all right, Firefox is what I want, so I'm going to select it. All right, what computer should this be installed on? Great. So let me take a second to kind of explain here, right? So if I'm a user and I'm saying, hey, I want iTunes, I want Firefox. When we import our computers from Altiris, we also import the primary user, right? In Altiris world, that's whoever has logged on and off the machine the most in a month period. So then when I authenticate to ServiceNow as the employee self-service, what's going to be displayed to me then as Pat McPherson is only going to be the machines that I'm a primary owner of. That's an option, okay? So that's a very nice option that the tool can take into consideration. Don't have to use it, but it is an option. So here, I already know my machine's name. I was going to type in Win7 Pro, and I'm going to click here now where it says Order Now. So there we go. My request has been submitted. And you'll notice here, you'll see the stage. So we can come back and see exactly where in the process my software delivery process is at, right? Whether it's been installed and so forth. But look at some other things here, right? The request approved. It's been approved. I alluded to earlier, like, well, Pat, Firefox is no big deal. It's freeware. What if someone wanted the Office suite? What if someone wanted Visio? Could I have an approval? You bet. And it would show you, if there was an approval that needed to happen and an individual or a team needed to approve or deny the software request, then your users would also be notified. All right, so let's go back over here. And you're going to see here on the Symantec Management Agent, you're going to see here it's installing Firefox. So here under Task History, let me give this a refresh. And there we go. So Firefox is on its way. So just to kind of elude back while this finishes here. So, request was made from ServiceNow. It was approved. it then communicated, ServiceNow communicated to that mid server, and that mid server pumped it over. It pumped it over to 7.5, and it said, Win7 Pro, you need to install Firefox. And then it sent it down to my machine. Now, so many times then I get some questions like, well, Pat, you know what, maybe I've got CIs already created that are not going to have an Altiris agent. Is there logic in place where it will, filter machines out that don't have Altiris on it versus the ones that do? Yes. Yeah, only machines it'll only show up the machines that have an Altiris agent installed. And if that's what you want, we can configure it to be that way. All right, so let me refresh here. Yeah, Firefox is taking its time, still running. We'll see it pop in here in just a moment. So while this is wrapping up here, let me show you some of these other options here, right? If I go back to this PowerPoint slide, I kind of jumped into the fun stuff right away. Well, Pat, I saw on the list Win7 Pro, right? Can I check that out in ServiceNow and see its software and hardware? Yeah, let's go take a look here. So here, I'm going to type in computer. And it's my base items here for computer, and my machine's name is Win7. Win7 Pro, here I am. So when I select this particular CI, look at what got populated here. Okay, this is all data that got brought in from my import. So what's important here? Serial number. What's my model? What domain am I in? What's my OS? What's my OS version? What's my DNS name? Intel, AMD, how much RAM? CPU. Oh, I've only got a gig. That's probably why my Firefox install is taking so long. Probably need to get a little bit more RAM. CPU count, right? So this is the hardware data that I can bring in here. Okay. Now if I scroll down, look at these other tabs here, and I really like this here, guys, in ServiceNow. I really like the tab view. There's two different ways you can look at it. You can have it all be listed down, or in the tabs. I prefer the tabs. But here, let me click here on the software installed here, right? So this is everything that is installed on my particular endpoint, and this is pulling from the installed software data classes inside of the Altiris module. So this is everything that's currently installed on my endpoint. So gives, and then once we get this data here, right, when we open up tickets and incidents, we can associate computers to tickets and other things within ServiceNow. Then you can drill in to see this type of information. It's one place to look at it all, right? So instead of having to pop open the Altiris console, I get the same data here right within ServiceNow, especially if I'm working on an incident, which is very nice. All right, so you guys keep hearing me. I keep talking about it. Incidents, right? So here is just an option here. Let me go ahead. I'm going to click on incidents. I'm going to make a new one. All right, so here, see where it says configuration item, right? So here, I'm going to type in Win7. There we go. Win7 Pro. Now notice, guys, that it's not until I save. If I save the incident, what's going to happen is you're going to see something pop open on the ticket. It's called a related link. So here, let me save it. And look what happened towards the bottom here, related links. So right from a ticket, I can go ahead and do agent tasks, which is pretty nice. So for those, Altiris admins, I mean, how often do we say, hey, I want to update the agent? And in the past, we do things like running the RAD tool, right? The remote Altiris agent diagnostic. But this is leveraging, the task service to tell it to send a basic inventory, tell it to do an update config. If you got a user running Windows 8 and they're like, I can't figure out how to restart my computer, boom, we can do it right here from an incident. So guys, I want to make note here, I can do that from an incident as an option, and the same thing here, and I should have shown this earlier, I don't know why I didn't. Let me go back to my computers when I was showing you my Windows 7. Windows 7, boop. Let me scroll down. Same options here, right? Altiris agent tasks. So me as a help desk technician, I can find a machine and send these type of tasks to my endpoint as well. I can also do the software delivery, right? If I click on the little browse, hey, that looks pretty familiar, right? these are our jobs and tasks that it imported in earlier when I was showing you over here. Right, install Java and so forth, because I've already specified the folder that I want to make available here. All right, good. So guys, went through, we looked at our software and hardware. We looked at requesting, something within the service catalog. I did a software, right? We did Firefox. We're not limited to only software. If you guys got an imaging job, right, deploy Windows 7, then do post build within that job, those are options as well, and you can make that available in your catalog if you wish. We can deliver right from a computer. Yeah, I typed in Win 7. I'm a technician. Maybe I don't have access to the Altiris console, but I would like to be able to tickle my agent or do it on-demand software delivery for a user. Do it right from a computer and right within an incident. That's an option as well. And reporting, we looked at right when we first started here, and those were some of those dashboards there that will show us, hey, who's requested what's been successful, what's been a failure, and so forth. So guys, next here, what I want to do is I want to start talking a little bit. Well, what are some of the most common questions that I get from folks, right? So I'm going to kind of go through my list here real quick and knock out some of the most common questions I get. And then after I kind of go through these, I'll take a look to see if we've got any questions from the audience, and I'll do my best to get those answered for you as well. So Pat, this is the best thing ever. I want to buy it now. Right? It is available in the ServiceNow store. So if you go to the above URL, store.servicenow.com, you can type in on the search Altiris, and we're going to pop right up for you. And you will then see, you can request, and that is how we purchase and implement the Altiris AI. It is actually purchased through the ServiceNow store. Now, ITS has worked with ServiceNow to get fully certified, right? So this is a fully certified integration, and it is purchased through the ServiceNow store. Well, Pat, that's great. You kind of alluded to me earlier. I want to know more about these approvals, right? I used the example of iTunes. Well, I've got something like Visio. I've got something expensive. Who's going to help me, figure this out, my type of an approval process, and who's going to help me get this part going here, right? So my Visio here looks good, right? ServiceNow talks to the mid server 7.5. We help you guys, right? As part of the purchase through the subscription through the store, we will work with your teams to implement the tool so we can get the functionality that I just showed you today. So we, import in your computers, get your tasks sucked in, and work through that with you guys as well. Well, the next question is, okay, Pat, cool, everything's up and going, but things can happen over time, right? Something happened, machine's not getting a task. Who do I call? Do I call ServiceNow? I call ITS. You would call us. ITS support is included. That is included as part of the subscription when you purchase the application through the store. Already kind of alluded to this one that comes up a lot. Hey, can I leverage existing tasks? You bet. Can I do other tasks other than software delivery? Yes, absolutely. So Altiris 7.5 and 7.6 are what we have done all of our testing around. So those are the certified versions of Altiris. For those on the phone, like, hey, you know what, Pat? I've got maybe a 7.1 system. I would definitely, feel free to give me a jingle, or I'll have my contact information on this as well, and we can talk about, hey, what would it take you guys to get it upgraded from Altiris 7.1 to 7.5. I've got a tremendous amount of experience doing that for people, so I can definitely help you guys out there. This is a big one, right? Especially for some of my jumbo-sized customers. Pat, I've got hundreds of thousands of endpoints. My notification server kind of caps out 25,000, and maybe I've got multiple hierarchies, or I have no hierarchies, right? So I've got multiple SMPs in different regions. The question then comes up, what's up? And can I still leverage the tool? And the answer is yes. Earlier, when you kind of saw me walking through, hey, Win 7 Pro, install this task. What's happening on the back end here, fellows, is it's looking to see what the notification server is. So when we gather here, when we gather your hardware and software information from a basic inventory, it'll go ahead and send that in to the ServiceNow instance, and it will populate that so it knows which notification server to send it to. So multiple SMPs can be leveraged. Other big questions that come up, hey, is orchestration required? No, it is not required. Is the asset module required? No, the asset module is not required as well. And then the next one here, can it be leveraged? You bet. Absolutely. So earlier when I was showing you the inventory, right? Like, hey, what are the software that I currently have installed? We can specify to populate your guys' asset data, right? So what's nice about this is then, we can get in then to like if it's like, what, I haven't tackled asset management and that's something I want to start doing. Well, then Altiris can feed your asset tables so then I can get into doing software compliance within Altiris, okay? So the asset module can be leveraged. And the last one here, hey, the Actionable Integration is coming for SCCM as well. It's coming soon. So if you're looking at this and you've got colleagues and friends, like, hey, you know what, there's other place I used to be at, they're leveraging System Center, or we're looking to leverage System Center, can I do the same type of thing on SCCM? The answer is yes. And that is coming soon, and it's going to be very similar to what I kind of shown today. All right, so let me go through here and see if I got any questions. All right, does the deploy software screen support folders? Our list of deployable apps is organized by folder. Yeah, so let's go over here. So, and I got one of my colleagues here, Josh Brown, who's done a lot of work around here. Okay, good. He just let me know, guys, when you tell it the root folder, it will go 7 folders deep, okay? Yep, and those can be expanded if you go further than 7 levels down. Good. We look through. All right, good. Hey, question on System Center. Is this coming soon? Yep, that is coming. Oh, does the user need to know their PC name? From Terry. Yeah, great question. No. So when they come into the employee self-service here, right? Let me go back to the original here. Boop. Let me request the software real quick. So here I did Firefox earlier. If I signed in, I logged in as P. McPherson. If I am the primary user of a computer in Altiris, we can configure the tool so that it will only display the machines that I am the primary owner of. Yep, the primary user and owner of. So then if there's multiple, right? So you could have people that have more than one machine. Then yeah, they would need to select which of the machines that they want to deliver the software to, but it will only show, the machines that they are the primary user and owner of. So good question, Terry. Thank you. Again, I'm Pat McPherson. Feel free to shoot me a note. If this, like, hey, you know what, Pat, this is awesome. I'd really like the opportunity to work one-on-one, to see more information about this. Again, feel free to reach out to myself, and I can get a one-on-one session scheduled with you as well. This is the ServiceNow store. Search for Altiris, and here we are. Yes, and if you can't get enough of my voice, here's another recorded session I did. All right, I think I'm good here. So guys, thanks again for joining. Here is my contact information, and feel free to reach out if you got any additional questions. All right, guys, everyone have a good rest of your day. Thank you.